YouTube is, looks like they've started 2 different live feeds, and there are people waiting in both.
I don't even. Oh, which one is it?
So right now, the one that we're in has 9 people waiting.
Oh, the other one has. Oh, yeah, I see it. Should you just delete the other one?
I was trying. It actually wouldn't let me.
Oh, I'm getting an ad.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so there's one. We're only live in one, and I don't know why there's a second one here. We're live in one. Hey, hello, Catfish. Hey, can somebody go into the other one and post a comment to leave that one?
I don't know. Don't worry about it.
They'll figure it out, but I hate that people are sitting there and waiting.
Do you want me to try to do that? I can try to do that.
Don't leave. Do it on your laptop. Don't leave this so we don't get timed out again.
Okay. I'm trying.
All right.
Okay, the one that says upcoming, you want me to go to it?
Yes, please.
Okay, and then do what? Oh, in the chat.
Yeah, in the chat. If you could just post in the chat and tell people to come to the other live. For some reason, there was 2. And Sprout, don't let it bother you that if you're watching on your laptop, our voice, there's a delay. So just. All right. Hi, Katie L, Justin. Let's see. Hello. Hey, your dad's here. What's up, Mr. Howard? Let's see.
Okay, I left a. Oh, good. Somebody, Night Viper 3
Thank
said,
you, Night Viper.
was like on it. Thank you, thank you.
These things always end up being such a pain to get.
Oh, everyone's saying hi. It's so cute. Hi with all of your emojis and your thumbs ups.
Thank you, Tom Gale. Thanks for the encouragement too on making these videos. Okay. And sorry, guys, we're both looking off to the side because we have laptops.
Hello from Asheville. We're coming to that area soon. Or Scar, which we will talk about soon.
Oh yeah, you wanted me to open that spreadsheet. I haven't opened
you're
that
not
spreadsheet
even late, Robert Ligas. You're just right on time.
Thank you, Stacy. My sister told them in the other lives too.
Thanks.
Thank you, Cindy. Welcome. What did you? This cool chick. I know this cool chick. She comments all the time on videos.
Yeah, you know a cool chick? Well, I know some cool chicks too.
Yeah, well, yeah, but this person's name is this cool chick.
I know.
Are you just fishing here? You want me to say you're a cool chick?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know you're a cool chick. You don't need me to tell you that. Okay, so we have quite a few people here. Wow, there's already 75 people here. That's crazy. Thank you all for joining. I think everybody here knows this, but in case you're new here and this just popped up in your feed, or some of you may know me and not Sprout, or vice versa. So
they like your fresh beard trim. Oh, I'm here for the interruptions.
That's okay. I'm used to that. So if you're new here, my name's Steve. On trail, I'm known as Lil'Chap.
Thank you.
What are you? Oh, you're about the
Katie
hair.
L said my hair looks nice.
You know,
I'm not on trail and I had conditioner.
We were prepping for this a minute ago.
There's no conditioner.
She had to go finish her hair.
Well.
All right, let me do this intro real quick. So anyway, you guys, you know me. I recently completed the Arizona Trail where I met our guest today. This is Jackie, known on trail as Sprout. And we met, I think, the second to last day of the AZT, and we were instantly friends. I'm not even sure how that happened, but we ended up finishing the trail together. And I'm really lucky because she asked me to be a very, very, very small part of this big FKT that we're going to talk about today that will be upcoming. We're not going to tell you guys the exact dates that we're going to be down there, but it'll be very soon. So we're going to start off by answering some of the questions that were submitted in advance on Facebook and YouTube. Some of them I'm going to hold off on because we're going to get into SCAR in a little more detail just in a little bit. Feel free to go ahead and I will catch up on all these comments. We know Sprout's hair looks good, and I see a bunch of hellos here. We will go into the comments. So if you have any questions specifically about the Arizona Trail, we're happy to talk about that. Although all the questions I got in advance are about SCAR and Sprout's upcoming attempt. So we're going to talk mostly about that. But if you all have any kind of questions about the Arizona Trail, our comparisons of trails, differences in gear with...
They like your hair too, Lil'Chap.
My hair? I don't have any hair.
No, the one on your face.
Oh, yeah, they're used to seeing my my scruff because I don't shave it on trail. Oh, we clean up well. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Catfish. Okay, so let's first just go through some of these questions, and I'm just
Can we tell them what SCAR is?
We're going to in a minute.
Oh, okay.
Let's first go through some of these like more just singular questions that aren't all about SCAR that we got in advance.
Oh, okay.
And then we're going to go into SCAR. We're going to tell them all about what SCAR is, what a fastest known time or FKT is. And then I have a list of different things that, because you and I like to get off topic.
Never.
I've met the only person that tells a longer story than me. And if the first story she ever told me took 4.5 hours, I think.
Well, there were lots of interruptions.
There were a lot of tangents, but it was a great story. Okay, so, oh my gosh, we're clean and sparkly.
That's true. We don't have our like hiker trash vibe happening.
We considered that. We thought about wearing our Sun Hoodies.
Yeah, we did,
speaking of Sun Hoodie, the first question that I got that we can answer quickly, maybe, we know how you are with gear. What is Sprout's favorite Sun Hoodie?
So I like the Mountain Hardwear hoodie that I was wearing in Arizona, just because I feel like it's like looser, like a little bit like lighter and looser. I tried. I think it was the Patagonia version that I wore on the PCT. I can't really remember their brand that I tried. But yeah, I think it's Mountain Hardwear, the one that I like, and I would say it's my favorite Sun Hoodie. Because I've
Brand is
only
good
tried
enough.
2.
I didn't expect you to know the actual model.
I like the lavender color.
Well, that's important.
Sun fades very nicely. However, beware that the part next to your hand becomes very black no matter what the color, especially if you use poles.
Okay. And I'm going to apologize for the glare on my glasses because
nobody cares.
We went through a big thing here. I broke one light that I have set up here already. I had run. It's 3 minutes before I'm running around trying to find another light. This is as good as it's going to get. I mean, I've got a Katahdin picture in a backpack. This is the best I'm going to get for studio-esque. All right, so somebody commented. It was more of a comment than a question. That with the miles we do, we should do the NCT, which I think is the North Country Trail next year. And I will say that in the North Country Trail is nowhere on my list of things to do. I have a physical list of hikes I want to do, and oh, good. She's always right. She told me. Eric Sprigg said she's always right. No one cares about the glare. If I took my hat off, I'd really glare you guys out. So yeah, the North Country Trail is not on my list at all. The next big trail I would do is probably the Continental Divide, but I'm a few years from that. I have a lot of other trails before that. The North Country Trail, I think, is over 4,000 miles, and it's not even really done. So that's not on my list. I think when I mentioned this to Sprout, didn't you say you'd never even heard of it?
I have not heard of the North Country Trail.
Okay. So it's safe to say that is not on either of our lists.
His backpack is hanging on his wall and his Katahdin picture, but I think that comment is facetious because you just told us about it.
Maybe there's a delay. Maybe they're asking first.
Oh, maybe.
The Katahdin picture is definitely like the coolest thing I have. I don't even have a photo other than on digital of like the PCT or the AZT, but the Katahdin photo I love. I cried like a baby up there. If you saw the video, you'd know that. Okay, are we planning any more hikes this year? I don't know.
Maybe.
Maybe. I need to go get a job. Uh, but yes, we have talked about a couple hikes, potentially, maybe together. I don't know. Let's leave that at that for now.
Yeah, we have
I don't
to
want to.
like.
We need to get through Scar before we
We need to
talk
get
about anything
through
else.
Scar alive.
We may, after this experience, we
Sprout
both
needs
may
to
be
live.
scarred. We may not even be friends anymore after Scar. Who knows? Okay, another question. I guess this one is, what, Katie? You don't like me by myself? Um, have you heard from Hollywood? What is he up to? I actually texted him, and we texted a little bit this weekend. He's in. I don't know if I've said this before. If you missed it, he's in barber school, which was his dream, and he's doing really, really well in barber school, and only has a few months to go. And if you're in the Pennsylvania area, I know he just posted he's doing some HVAC work on the side. So if you're in the Pennsylvania area near Lancaster and need some HVAC work, hit up Hollywood.
Katie L says she's fine with you hiking without me, but I'm also fun.
Yeah, she's just backtracking. She already said we needed to hike together.
And Pamela says yay for Hollywood.
And here's some more. There was more about are we doing anything else together? Or we haven't even planned. We'll get through Scar and then figure that out. Okay. That said, let's talk a little bit about. How about I explain briefly what SCAR is, and then you talk about what an FKT is, because I think for most of our audience probably don't know what an FKT is. So
Ricochet wants to know, have you ever thought of trying bike packing? The Continental Divide mountain bike route looks amazing.
let's go through the questions. I'll
We'll
answer that
come
one
back to
quickly.
that one.
I'll answer that real quick, and then we'll go through
That's
the
not a quick answer.
Well, yeah, it is.
Oh,
I want to bike pack the Katy Trail that's by my house. I run there almost every day, but I don't even have a bicycle right now. I sold it before I went on the PCT. I've been looking. Sprout has a lot more of an elitist idea of bikes, and I sent her a picture of a Walmart Huffy, and she told me she'd never ride with me if I bought it. So I want to do the
that
Katy
happened,
Trail.
yeah.
It's like a 260-mile trail, and I was thinking like do it over 4 days. And we got as far in that conversation as her saying, "Oh, I'll do that with you. Let's do it in 2 days." But she likes to push, so that's that answer. We're gonna go back.
I have done some bike packing, but not on gravel. So I am curious about it. I don't know about the CDT, but I've thought about it with like the Caminos in Spain. I think would be interesting, or like sections of the CDT in Wyoming, or like gravel sections in Colorado and Wyoming. Anyway,
Okay, so
okay.
a lot. I wore an AT shirt just for this because SCAR stands for the Smoky Challenge Adventure Run, and it's the Appalachian Trail from basically through the Smoky Mountain National Park. So it's the Appalachian Trail from Fontana Dam to Davenport Gap. And a lot of people do SCAR just one direction or the other, which is, depending on what you look at, 72-ish miles. That's not enough for Sprout, so she's going to do double SCAR, which is starting at Fontana, running the Appalachian Trail. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. I think with some of the comments I got, people think that she's hiking, but this is running. So running mixed with hiking. Power hiking, I guess. So she's going to start at Fontana Dam and run the full length of the Smokies to Davenport Gap, and then turn around and come all the way back to Fontana. So it's about 145 to 147 mile effort in total. It's a pretty popular route. I don't know if you follow much like endurance running. John Kelly just did single SCAR as his last big training effort before he tries to beat Tara Dower's fastest known time record on the Appalachian Trail. I think he's actually starting early June. So there's a chance we could run into them. Anyhow, that's what SCAR is. Do you want to add anything about what SCAR is before you explain what an FKT is?
Well, I was just gonna say that like a lot of people do single scar, like you said. There's women and men that have accomplished that. Double scar is a little less popular, and there haven't been any women that have completed it successfully that we know of, unsupported. So I would be the first.
And we're going to talk more about that. But this isn't. It's not that no woman has completed because nobody's trying it. Someone tried it 2 weeks ago. So it's popular enough that people are doing it. So don't sell yourself short there by.
Okay.
I
No,
mean,
people definitely
somebody
are
just tried
trying
it two
it.
weeks ago.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll one of the
But
categories that
nobody's successfully finished it yet.
correct, and one of the categories is goals, and we'll talk more about all that here shortly. So why don't you tell them all what an FKT is?
Um, so FKT stands for fastest known time. In the trail running community, or really just trail community, I guess, trails have like speed records. And so it's basically instead of it being like a sanctioned race, people can just toe the line and say, like, I'm going to go for the fastest known time on this trail segment or this entire trail, like the whole Appalachian Trail has, fastest known times, or the whole Colorado Trail. Um, and yeah, so you are basically saying, like, I'm going for a speed record. Um, you know, during that time. Um, Chap, I like can't see your face, so it's very awkward to just talk to myself.
Sorry, I was trying to
When
look at
you're
the
like
comments.
when you're in the comments, I'm
I'm
like, now I'm
I'm
speaking
trying
to
to keep
just
up with
myself.
I'm trying to keep up with too many things, and I actually didn't open the other tab that you told me to open before this, so I'm doing that now. Hopefully, it won't send me anything.
Oh,
I'll
so
make sure my face stays in
did
here
I
so you can.
explain fastest known time? So there's categories. Um, so there's female, male, and then there's supported, self-supported, and unsupported. So supported is having like crew and pacers and um primarily that, and support and photographers and how, people there to help you, and specifically like you don't have to carry as much food because your pacer can help carry stuff, or you can like, have crew that find intercept you in certain places on the trail to give you food. So a huge difference for me between supported and unsupported is the pack weight, because you have to carry all of your food if you do it unsupported versus supported. Um, Self-supported is this in between category where like I could go and cache food for myself along the way. Or if you're doing something like the Appalachian Trail without crew and pacers, but obviously you're not going to start to finish with all of your food, you'll like get off and resupply, you know, and that's considered self-supported. You're accessing support that is available to the general public. Um, yeah.
Sorry, I was answering a question in the comments here. Um, all right, so I think that's a very good explanation of what that is. I had to answer Michelle's comment because she was one of my favorite trail angels on the PCT. She hooked us up a couple times.
Nice.
Okay, so now that we talked about what SCAR
Yeah,
is,
it's actually more like 147 miles, I think.
I think it depends on what you look at.
Maybe so.
Far out has it at exactly 145. It's 72.5 each way. And the SCAR website has it at 70 plus with no real. But we'll go with 180 if you want. I don't know what it is. Everything
N
has a slightly different
Data
number.
Data Geek wants to know how you prove it. You have to have 2 GPS devices, so I'll have a watch as well as, a Garmin inReach Mini that will track me, and so I send it in, and then I also need to take, like, time-stamped photos as well as write, like, a report. So there's, like, various factors that I'll submit to the fastest known time, like, entities, and then they go through a verification process and make sure. How do you know if it's supported versus unsupported? I guess that's more like the like honor code, like honesty policy or whatever, it's you can't fully verify that, but usually people announce it ahead of time to let the fastest known time people know. And if it was like a really like high stakes FKT, I guess, they could like send people out to like make sure. I guess. I don't know. But I think it's typically just you send in all these like verification points. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate all of the good luck. I am terrified. Um,
Okay, so
I will push myself, Leo. And my
so
dad is plugging the Ice Age drill just
I know I
randomly.
saw that,
Thanks,
and
Dad.
that's on my list. But hey, let's try to stay out of, like, let's not answer the comments
Well,
yet.
I know you were busy there typing there, and I was just gonna like talk to myself.
I was waiting for you to stop talking.
You gotta
So
talk to me.
okay, so let's go through the categories about Scar, and maybe we'll answer a lot of these questions. And that way we can try to stay like somewhat in a orderly fashion, because I struggle with that, and together we're not good at that at all. So let's talk about first. What about your, and I want to say something before we get into like physical prep and the different categories of Scar. So this isn't like, this FKT isn't something that Sprout just woke up one day and was like, "Hey, I'm going to go try this." What most people think's a crazy thing. Um, she's not a stranger to doing what most of us would think are extreme feats. And she, do you want to first tell them just very briefly about the FKT you set in the Grand Canyon already in the past, a couple years ago?
Yeah, in 2021, I did rim to rim to rim to rim to rim, which is about 92 to 100 miles in the Grand Canyon. I did that one unsupported. So it's a quad crossing. You do rim to rim to rim twice. And so it's one night. I did it in 33 hours. I beat the record by 7 hours. Um, and Scar has actually been on my mind. I've been like talking about it for about 6 years. So it's been on my mind, but I've never felt ready or prepared. I don't know if I am still, but I always was like, when I finish the AZT, I'll be ready. So like, here we
So
go.
that's a good segue. So what do you want to say about your physical prep, and how did the AZT play into that?
I mean, I pushed myself on the ACT. There were not too many easy days. I I think for me, like carrying a lot of weight, like I don't really consider myself a super lightweight backpacker. I try to be, but I'm a lightweight person. So no matter how heavy my pack still ends up being like 30% of my body weight. So that's like pretty heavy. Like the recommendation is like 20% of your body weight. Um, so I was carrying a lot of weight and like trying to, go long days. So I really just try to use my backpacking as the like foundation for my training, and then I just run in Austin whenever I can, most days. And um, did you
She's
have
also
more specific questions?
um, she's also been drinking permethrin to try to ward off the
I
tick.
forgot to wash out my back.
So she sprayed her running vest, which she'll talk about more when we get into the gear, with permethrin to keep the ticks out. And I told her, make, because she has these straws that like in her water flask. I said, make sure you wipe that off and don't spray it. And then she was on the phone with me earlier, and she's like, "Oh, this tastes like poison."
Well, I think it was like a little in my head about the fact
It
that
was probably more psychosomatic. But did you go wash it out? Did you
I
wash them
haven't
before?
yet. No.
I figured you got
I
busy on
don't
the
know
hair
that
and
it really
makeup.
works that way. It's like permethrin washes out by agitation. But permethrin, just for those of you that don't know what it is, it's like a very strong poison that did spray some of my gear because I think probably the thing that, well, there's many things that I'm most concerned about. So one of the things that I'm most concerned about is Lyme disease. That's just like my A take, my Appalachian Trail fear, like getting tick bites. And I won't have that much clothing coverage, so I, like, sprayed my shoes and socks and my pack, and yeah, that's I mean, I think I'm gonna bring, like, a tiny thing of bug spray because I know that if, like and I'm gonna bring a mosquito net just because I know that if, like, I'm getting swamped by mosquitoes, that would be just a really miserable time, and I like to not have a miserable time if I can help it.
Come on, this is gonna be miserable.
It's gonna be so great.
Okay, so let's move to
Misery is in the eye of the beholder.
touche. Okay, so let's talk about logistical planning. And
Okay.
I don't even know where to go with this. I mean, I'm
Well, we have a
I'm gonna
spreadsheet.
I'm gonna say one thing and then turn this over to you. We have a spreadsheet with many tabs. And she first asked me because I volunteered to do like go through the water and figure out where she's gonna get water. And I had like just a few. It was a very basic spreadsheet. She added like 15 tabs. The data got so granular. We've been working on it almost daily to fill in all the stuff. And there's still a lot of blank spots on there. So
Well, yeah.
I think most of this is just like mental prep, just to kind of understand what it for her to understand and for me to have an idea where she's going to be. I don't. One thing we haven't really talked about is you've mentioned how do you normally say it? I'm her support, her non-support support. So I can't really do anything to help her because it's an unsupported attempt. And only she can only have people there at the beginning and the end.
Mhm.
So like I'll be there when she starts, and then the only thing I can do is like there's only a couple roads. There's like the ends of where she starts, where she turns around, and then in the middle. But she can't even like see me, or I can't be there like exactly when she's there. So all I'll be doing is kind of being as close to her as possible on the roads in case there is some reason she has to extract or end the attempt. Basically, I'm just there waiting. I'm just gonna go hiking and have fun
Yeah.
while I'm waiting. So that's my role is almost nothing here other than these spreadsheets in the beginning beforehand and picking her up at the airport. Um, so do you want to talk any more about these spreadsheets and like tell a little bit more like what maybe
Yeah.
high level what type of data you're looking at?
Yeah, I mean, major benchmarks are going to be our water sources, and so Chap helped a lot with like going through far out and looking to see like which sources are close to the trail because a lot of times especially on the AT, you have to like leave trail like 0.4 miles off this really steep like thing. And so we're trying to find water sources that are close to trail. Also with trail running, um, I need to drink. I drink a lot more water, and I'm going to be drinking like a lot of my calories as well. So I'll need to stop for water like a lot more frequently than say on the AZT. Um, like on the AZT, I had no problem carrying like tons of liters of water and just like drinking it for 2 days. But out here, it's going to be like I think I was like every 6 to 12 miles. I think the longest water carry is like 11 miles, maybe. Um, so we went through and kind of looked at where are the main water sources, um, and then we like put like a column for if there's a privy, uh, so that I can know where my bathroom stops are, and then a column for Verizon service just to know like where service is going to be in just like emergency, honestly. Um, and then any like notes, like if it's a 30-yard side trail and I'm like, don't want to do it, have plenty of water, maybe I'll just be like, I'll push the next, 3 miles and take the next one. That's the creek that crosses the trail. So and then also just some like major benchmarks, like Clingman's Dome, Newfound Gap, obviously Davenport Gap where I turn around, and just so I can have like those benchmarks, and then I paced out. Well, I'm gonna do 4 options, but I
I
paced
was
out like
just, you
3.
haven't finished that last one yet.
Oh, the water benchmarks one? Oh, no,
Yeah,
my pacing, yeah.
yeah.
So I tried to like, and they're just flat, even paces, which it's just high level, like around every 10, 15, 20-ish miles, where like what time of day it will be for me to arrive to that benchmark. Um, and like my elapsed time, just so I can kind of see like, okay, when I get to Davenport Gap, if I'm on a 58-hour pace, it should be 8:45 a.m. on day 2. Um, that kind of thing, just to like know, like, oh, I'll be in the daylight, and I'll be like to kind of high level know different paces and know when I'll be in the dark versus night, and just kind of have some like benchmark times to shoot for. Um, and really, we just picked like a couple of shelters, Newfound Gap and Davenport Gap, and then of course Fontana is the start and finish. Um, I don't know if someone asked. I think someone probably did. Um, like, my dad says thanks for supporting non-support.
I've I've already responded to him
Oh, well,
like a
you
few
should be.
minutes ago.
You're like over there chatting, and I'm just like, um. So Uh, yeah, like, so the women's supported time is 51 hours, 51 minutes. 51 hours, 51 minutes. Um, and like we said, there's no women that has completed this unsupported. So me just completing it is the goal. But just FYI, our time is around 52 hours, and the men's unsupported time it was about 2 hours slower, 53 hours 45 minutes. So looking at like a 52-hour, you know, female supported, and then 54-hour is the men's unsupported, and then like following the trend of like typical FKTs, it would be realistic for me to finish, who knows, maybe 4 or 6 hours after the men's unsupported, but anything's possible.
There's, you know, a
But
woman
we're
has
kind
the
of thinking
overall record
58.
on the AT.
Yeah, I know.
A couple other things that you didn't mention that I think are notable is like all the elevation changes,
Oh
but
yes.
between
Ooh.
all the points,
I
so
got
she
really
knows what
intense
to
on
expect. Like if
that
it's a
tab.
1,000 foot climb or an 800 foot down. Um,
Yeah.
we also
I
have
like
data like moonrise, the first light, last light, sunrise, sunset.
the
Um,
moonrise is interesting because like I'm gonna have no the moon rises at 9:45 a.m. and then sets at 11 a.m. Or no, it rises at, wait, is that right?
I don't know. You did that part. I haven't looked back. I haven't looked back at it.
Oh, it rises at 9:45 a.m. on day 1, and it rises at 11 a.m. on the last day. Because and then it will set, like, in the evening before the sun sets. So, basically, the moon will be out when it's sunny, and so I will have a nice moon during the day. So, it'll be dark at night is basically the point, and
Yeah,
it'll be a waxing gibbous, I believe, for all of the
it's
science nerds out there. Um, but, yes, my elevation, like, tab got pretty granular, honestly, but it was really, I just wanted to, like, spend some time really studying the little ups and downs, because it's easy to be like, "Oh, you just go up for 32 miles." But, like, and you kinda do for the first 32, but there's definitely some, like, steep downhills that I wanna just be prepared for, um, even if they're short, and then so we have, like, the elevation change and the feet per mile, and then, like, the color coding to match the steepest, and the steepest down is the greenest, and the steepest up is the reddest. Conditional formatting in spreadsheets. If you know me, you know that I love a spreadsheet, and this shows that. And then there's of course the gear and the food tabs and the weather. We can talk about the weather. We can talk about my mantras.
so um, the weather's going to change so much. Maybe, hopefully not. Right now, it's looking great. Um, do you want to share like? Why don't you share like your top mantra, the one you like the most, whichever one that is.
Dance, eat, pick up your feet. I don't know. That was one of them.
My favorite is that I, meaning you, are a mountain queen.
Yeah, I like think channeling Mountain Queen energy. I have Sprout as a hiking machine because Sprout is my hiker name, and so with this ultra running, it is a mix of running and hiking, and so, like, sometimes when you're running and you're reduced to a hike, it can get into your head, like, that you're moving slowly, and so it's nice to just, like, click into my Sprout, self and feel like I'm just a hiker and I'm a hiking machine and I can just hike and that's okay and not feel any type of way about, hiking. Um, yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your nutrition leading up to and on trail? And maybe just we had questions in advance about specific snacks that power you through the day while you're hiking. Um, the other
Yeah.
thing you may want to clarify is like that this is the clock is running the whole time and there's no
Yeah.
sleeping, and because there's been some questions about that.
Well, there's dirt naps.
Well, you can talk about that. I'm going to be right back. I need to do something.
Oh,
Okay.
bye.
So
Okay.
it'll be 2 seconds. Keep talking.
Okay. Um, yes, the clock is it's just elapsed time. So there's, I think after around 60 hours, it's really recommended that you get a REM cycle, but under 60 hours, I can get away with what's called dirt naps. Um, so anywhere between like a 5 to 20 minute nap. I'll probably either have one of 2 strategies. My strategy is kind of to just take those naps, during the heat of the day because I don't want my body temperature to cool off too much at night, and because it's the Smokies, it's like a rainforest, it's likely to be very humid or I'll get rained on, and so at night, I think it's pretty important for me to keep moving. I've also tried to nap at night before in events, and I get cold, like, within 1 minute, so it's just not probably the best, and if I am gonna nap at night because I'm just so tired, I'll probably get like my emergency bivy out and like get inside of it because I can't like lose too much body heat. Otherwise, it'll take too much energy to regain it. And it's just a recipe for hypothermia. And I'm pretty like sensitive to that. So I'll try to plan for heat of the day. Also, that's like when I'm the most tired is between like 2 and 4 p.m. Like when the sun starts to set, I tend to get another wind. Some people say, between 2 and 4 AM is another good nap time, and I do sometimes get tired during that time, but like I said, my preference would be to do my little dirt naps, during the day, and hopefully not a REM cycle. If I need to do a REM cycle, I'll do a REM cycle, I guess, but, yeah, so that's the nap plan. Yes, hiking Lang only likes waning moons.
So
Um
what I missed because I had to do something there. Did you get through the nutrition or snacks
No, I
before?
haven't started with the nutrition. I was
Okay, I just want
talking
to make
about
sure before I
something
went
else.
on.
Nutrition. So leading up to it, I mean, I am trying to practice eating. It's like kind of not going that great. I've been having some GI distress, just like living my life. I'm trying to eat a little bit more than usual because I don't want to bombard my system with carbs and then have a lot of GI distress. I think I will definitely be taking some Pepto-Bismol and probably Imodium, a couple like Pepto probably the day before and then throughout, and then Imodium if things get worse. I don't know if that's the nutrition question, but that's the GI question.
Well,
I
that's
will
the
be
nutrition.
I'm trying to do a lot of carbs to not atrophy my muscles from the AZT. What were you saying?
So I was going to say that may not be the question, but that's the current situation. So
Hmm.
what about
Nutrition
particular like
during
how? What's that?
nutrition during the event?
Yeah, why don't you give, because we had a specific question in advance about like what specific things will you eat? Like you don't have to go
Yeah,
through everything because it's a
yeah.
list, but like just a couple ideas that maybe people could. And if you guys missed it on the trail, she's vegan, so that also changes some of her options, I guess is the way to say
Yeah,
it.
I don't know for this if people would be eating anything that's not vegan because it would go bad pretty quickly. Um, but I'll be doing like bars and I'll have some gels. I think it's gonna be really hard for me to get the gels down, but I think that's how I'm gonna get caffeine for night 2. Um, I don't take caffeine during regular life, so I will be getting
I will
maximum benefit
attest
from
to,
caffeine.
after the AZT, I messed up when I went to get her a drink, and it had the lowest amount of caffeine of any tea that Starbucks had, and she didn't drink it all, and she was wired.
It's true. Anyone that knows me is like, "Whoa." Yeah, so I'll get some gels, some Morton gels, and some other I forget what I just, like, went to the feed and, like, kinda went shopping. So I got some gels with caffeine, I got some gels with no caffeine, some chews with caffeine, some chews with no caffeine. Um, I think I even got some, like, electrolyte powder with caffeine, I don't know. Anyway, so I just got some, like, sports nutrition stuff, but I prefer real food, and I'll take a bunch of bars. The bars that I have are Bobo's lemon poppy seed for life. Sponsor me, Bobo's.
What about the potato taco, the tacos?
I also have other bars like Lara bars and Luna bars, and then I'm gonna do some tacos. I think it's just refried beans. I don't know if I'm gonna do potatoes in there yet. Quesadillas with like vegan cheese and fresh HEB tortillas, very key. And then I'm gonna do some like powdered potato, and then I'll do like the knock NAAK makes a soup mix. It's a drink mix, but it's soup flavored. It's like broth, veggie broth flavored. It's supposed to be really nice warm, but I will be drinking cold soup broth flavored
It can't be as bad
calorie
as
drink.
the cold mashed potatoes squeezed out of a baggie are gonna be worse.
Yeah, especially because 'cause I'm doing instant. I normally just cook potatoes, and that's that. But then, like, Chap was like, "Well, what did you even tell me? I forgot you were like something," and I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea to do like how hikers do with instant potatoes,
She was gonna carry, like, real
like
potatoes. I
real
was like, "It'd be a
potatoes."
lot lighter if you carry just the powder," and we've been dealing with
Mhm.
weight issues because of what she's gonna carry.
It's
So,
really heavy.
speaking of weight
Yeah.
issues, why don't we go on to gear? Because
Okay.
I think there are a lot of people that,
Yeah, and chips. Yeah, I'm gonna have some chips, don't worry. There's others and pasta and PB&J, like, there's other stuff we didn't say. I have a list, yeah.
Michael Butler's I'm not supposed to be looking at comments, but I saw Michael Butler said Sprouts seems to be wired naturally.
It's true, like, I don't need help with being caffeinated. Like, I mean, I think night 2, like, I might need a little bit of help. I do get tired, but yeah, I'm very wired naturally. Noon
So,
has caffeine, yeah.
in a couple of the questions, people were talking about the hike. So
Mm.
why don't we talk a little bit about, this isn't like a hike. This is going to
Do
be
you want me to
running, and
show my
she's not going to have like a like a backpacking pack or a tent or sleeping quilts or anything like
announcement?
that. It's a very minimal running
I'll
vest,
model.
and she'll have just emergency some warm clothes, rain gear, an emergency bivy, and a lot of food.
And my very favorite piece of equipment, which is sticking out and bright pink. Does anyone know what it is?
I couldn't believe she was bringing this, but she's going to carry an umbrella while running through very heavily forested woods.
That are
Um,
likely going to be getting rained on. But yeah, it's not gonna be I'm also gonna have a fanny pack. I'll have a fanny pack. Where's my fanny packs? Well, I mean, obviously the fanny pack doesn't have anything in it, but and then I'm gonna have shorts with pockets, like on either leg and then like a back pocket. So that's where all the food's supposed to live. Like here, like I'll just be able to like oh, lots of these things too.
the Nature
What are
Valley,
they? Nature's Bakery.
Nature Bakery is there.
And like, what else do I have in here? This is just how you get your food.
I see a Luna
Oh,
bar.
another one. Yeah, Luna. Where is Luna? I think Luna's like in a different pocket. I just stuffed it to go do some hill repeats, so it's not exactly packed nicely. Oh, Scratch is a nice bar too. Yeah, I have other bars besides Bobo's bar. All right, we don't have
So
to wear
if
this back
anybody has
anymore.
specific gear questions, you can put those in the comments and we'll get to them.
But
Otherwise, it take
this is the key.
I told her if she runs fast enough on the downhill, she can just kind of like parachute down, maybe. So you've already.
Umbrella, yeah, umbrella is better than potatoes. Umbrella is like a true safety thing because it'll keep me from getting soaked, especially my hair, and like my sports bra and stuff, which can be like really problematic when it dips down into the 50s at night on um if you're like wet. And the rain jacket I have is like can be kind of hot if you're like if it's in the day and it's raining. So that's the issue with that. And then if I'm wearing a rain jacket and I'm sweating, you can also get really wet that way. So it's like umbrella for the win. I'm sticking with it.
You need to.
Shoes. Oh yeah, of course. Hoka Torrents. um, yeah,
So you
I,
started
I like
this.
Hoka Torrents.
You started this already, but the last like topic that we were going to cover were your goals. So I think
Okay.
you've mostly covered that when you were talking it through your spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say there about. So you said the first goal was to be the first woman to complete a double scar unsupported,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't know if you even want to share like a whole list
Sub
of
goals.
goals.
I mean,
Yeah,
I think
I
the
don't know that you
main
need to go through all the
secondary
times.
goal is like alive, you know,
Do what?
uh, to finish it alive. I was just keeping you
Oh,
on your toes
alive.
over
Oh,
there.
I thought you said the secondary goal is a lie, and I was like,
No.
who are you lying to, me or you?
No, the secondary goal is yeah, I mean, obviously I want to be moving as quickly as possible. I'd like to do it feeling well. I don't want to have like a major catastrophe. So I think like all of my sub goals aside from like time, which is really my true goal is really just I don't I'll have time of day on my watch, but I won't have and that's why I have those like major benchmarks. I'm not going to get too like obsessed with um trying to beat the women's supported record. I think it will be nice to know those times while I'm out there, but I think, for me, I don't want to finish it like crawling if I can help that. I'd like to have a good time out there because it's fun, because it's a choice. I'm choosing it.
There's one more.
Fritos, yes, Fritos. Yes, I do eat Fritos.
Okay,
And
one.
what's it called? Those potato chips that come Pringles.
There was one more question in advance before we go through the questions in the comments. But your dad says your
Oh,
mom wants to know anything, so
my mom
your
wants to know if
mom
I'm
gets
concerned
priority.
about
So go to that.
bears. Yeah, I am not concerned about bears because I'm just not. The bears in the Smokies are like big raccoons. I've seen them before over there. I will probably see one. I was thinking like it'd be interesting if I saw one at night. Um, that might be a little different, but I don't think that they'll be like out there. Hey, Zach. Um, and um, yeah, I don't know. Bears are like I'm way more afraid of mosquitoes and ticks than I am bears.
I
Like,
think the
I can
real
just, like,
question.
do this with my poles and, like, they'll run away, and, like, I'm not, like, camping. I think sometimes when you're camping and there's food nearby and you've cooked, like, that can attract bears because I'm moving the whole time, like, they don't wanna have anything to do with me.
I was gonna say, I think the real question here is, do the Bears have concerns about Sprout?
Mm. If there's a cub, possibly.
What are you gonna steal it?
No, but I mean, like, they might, like, be concerned about me if there's a cub.
No, 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 no. I meant, are they afraid of you?
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Okay, the last question that we had in advance that I don't think we've answered is, do you incorporate strength training prior to the attempt?
Um, that was the Arizona Trail. Carrying a very heavy pack for 12 to 14 hours a day, was my strength training. I don't have, like, a traditional gym membership, but I do go to some weights classes when I can. And I like to just throw on some weight and do stair repeats for like strength training. But I practice a lot of yoga and do some calisthenics, and I should do more strength training. But I do think like my backpacking, I rely on heavily for my strength training.
It's so weird having both screens up because everything is so delayed on the other one. Okay, so that's through everything. Let's scroll through some comments and see if we have missed anything.
Trench foot is kind of a concern, but I don't think I'm gonna be out there that long, and I'm bringing 3 pairs of socks, um, because I am worried about having really wet feet, and so I'm also gonna, like, tape them. I'll have a little baggie of baby powder. I'll yeah, I'm not looking forward to the foot situation, and I was telling Chap the other day that the best thing that I've done to prepare for this hike is the pedicure. So, but seriously, you don't wanna have blisters underneath calluses. There's nothing worse and nothing more painful, so, I have nice, smooth baby feet with a nice pink gel polish, and honestly, like, I never get gel polish on my toes, but for running and for ultras, it helps, like, keep the toenail really, like, solid, because 'cause I've had, issues with, like, losing toenails in the past, and so I have found that that helps. So, yeah, um, I think let's see, what else?
So
Um
I started at the top, and I'm like the oldest ones. So somebody said the Colorado Trail in your future. I had thought about doing it this year, but I don't think so. I need to focus on not adventuring for a little bit. I've spent a lot of time the last 3 years on trail. In the last 3 years, I've done the AT, the PCT, the AZT, and a few other smaller ones. So I'm ready to be not on trail for a bit. We'll see how long that thought process lasts. Um, yes, everybody liked the idea of the Huffy. That bike was 99 bucks.
I think
Uh,
I see this question about Sprout. Can you accept food or beverages from Trail Angels? I think if I was doing it self-supported, I could, but as unsupported, I don't think I can.
right. So the only things you
Yeah.
can accept is unsupported. My understanding, like she could use a public power outlet to charge a phone. She can
Which
use
I'll bring a
water
power
from a
bank.
spigot as long as it's like publicly available. But even if it's free, she couldn't even take water from like a commercial source. Like if there
Right.
was
Because
a
that's that moves us me into the self-supported
right.
category.
So pretty much she can't have she has to start carry everything she needs and gets no support. Um, okay, that was
My
answered.
pace will probably be slower during the darkness. I would agree with that. Although it depends, like some of the trail, like over by like going down into Davenport is really nice switchbacky trail, runnable, it's just depends. Yeah, I do think, yeah, it just kind of depends. I
Somebody,
think,
I think we're in different places. You're further down on. You're like more recent on the comments than I think I am.
well,
Yeah,
people
this
like my
does look
hair.
like an old Pink Floyd shirt, I guess, but it's an AT Lodge shirt that I got. I got right after I summited Katahdin at the AT Lodge. I needed a shirt to wear that wasn't a really smelly hiker trash shirt for the flight home. Yeah, let's see.
Um, yeah, I think, um,
Um, you covered this. Did you talk about, or did you decide? I think in the list of things you don't have it, but did you decide if you were going to bring like a small cut down piece of foam, like if you take a quick nap in a
oh
shelter?
yeah,
Or
I was thinking about bringing like I had actually cut a piece of a sleeping pad. And I had a different pack that I was gonna use. Um, and it was stolen. So I'm wearing my running vest and a fanny pack, and hopefully all my food fits in it. And I will not be bringing any kind of foam thing. I think I will be tired. If I'm tired enough for the dirt nap, I will be. And someone made a comment like at my age, the dirt nap means something different. And I didn't know this, but I was running with some people, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we say dirt nap to mean like." like buried in the coffin. And I was like,
Yeah, like dirt nap means you're dead.
I think
And
it kind of means that also in this context.
but it
Um,
in hiking too, like a dirt nap literally means that you just take a
you're
nap in
dead.
the
You're in the
dirt.
dirt. I mean, I'm hoping like that like I could time that like a storm happens right in the heat of the day, which it wouldn't really be the heat of the day anymore, but like the late afternoon when I'm tired and I can go into a shelter and I'm at a shelter at the right moment and I can nap on the floor of the shelter like during the day. So it's not like actually in the dirt. Um, but yeah, I think uh, shelter nap would be kind of nice, pretty plush. That'd be like a level up from dirt.
So just to clarify, that's when she was talking about the different benchmarks for time. Like if she is at like on the 50, if she's at whatever mile marker or landmark that she's supposed to be at the time to be at the 51-hour pace, she'll know that, oh, I could actually take an hour nap or whatever and still be at a 52-hour pace or something. So that's another way she'll use that data to just kind of benchmark and know where she stands overall.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, somebody said, I don't know
Oh,
exactly what
my running vest brand is, the Solomon, uh, what's it called?
it looks like mine. Mine's a
Let me
Salomon
look it up.
Active Skin.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mine is actually right here under a bunch of flask and
And I
stuff
think it's
too.
a 12 liter or whatever the largest kind is, and mine is a women's specific one, so the water bottles are different, and they have these, like, long, like, hoses, um, like
Permethrin
these
catchers.
yes. But they're like, "Of course, very special, customized water bottles for this." And I will bring a filter. I'll bring my Katahdin V-Free filter just because it's faster. So I'll carry 2 liters of water capacity.
Um, like this is what a normal one looks like,
Yeah,
the normal flask. Um,
yeah.
okay,
What level of
so
support are you providing, little chap? Somebody wants to know.
I'm not there yet. We're still up
Oh,
above that.
just kidding. We will not be answering that
We
question.
will answer that. I'm just trying not to miss
Your
people.
face left the frame again.
Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with all the where you're skipping around. I'm trying to keep up so we don't lose people. Um, so somebody says, Sprout, what vision wear do you use
Oh,
during
vision
day and
wear.
night?
Like headlamps at night.
I don't
Oh,
know if
because 'cause
that
I'm
means
wearing
like
glasses.
glasses or
My
contacts or
glasses are
headlamp.
just like I don't really need them. They're just nice for like computer stuff. Um, but I'll see fine without. Yeah, I could like I got LASIK eye surgery in my 20s and I can
So
see
just like a
okay.
couple years ago.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm great. I got good eyes. No, I mean, I'll just have a bright headlamp at night and then yeah,
What kind?
I'm not messing. I'm gonna use a night core and then whatever my dad is sending me, which I don't remember what it's called. Um, my dad has one that's like brighter and then he's mailing it to me and that's very nice of him to let me use it.
Hey, maybe he can put in the comments what it is. So we
Yeah, maybe dad, if you're still there, will you put in the comments what the headlamp is if you know what it is? Um, so I'll have 2 headlamps and then the headlamp that my dad has, like, has this little battery pack and both of them, I'll have a power bank and a little USB-C no, USB micro cord that I can charge well, I'll have both cords actually, the USB-C for my phone and then for the headlamp. So during the I was realizing I'm gonna have start with a headlamp and then have 2 nights. So I'll have, like, 3 opportunities to wear the headlamps.
isn't that awesome how she says opportunities to run at night?
Well, I always joke like when in the running with my running friends, we're like nighttime miles like don't count. They're like bonus. And then when the sun comes up, it's like the run starts. So it just feels like at night it's like this like secret bonus miles that you have, you know? Um, yeah.
So the next question,
Yeah, wait, really important. How is the state of the art gift shop sweater from the Grand Canyon?
or where is that? Oh, we're not there yet.
I know, but it's a good question.
I'm gonna get there. I don't want to miss him. Okay,
You're not gonna answer.
I'm
Leave
going to.
us
We're just
hanging.
not there yet.
So
I
stay
don't want to.
tuned.
Okay. So I know how you're going to answer this next question, but I'm going to ask it for because someone asked. How many miles do you run on trail or roads per week to prepare?
Wait, what did you say? You know how I'm gonna answer it?
Yeah, I have an idea how you're gonna answer it. Go ahead. I don't know exactly what you're gonna say.
I don't know the answer to that, and yeah, Chad will be like, "How many miles are you gonna run tomorrow?" And I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna run tomorrow or if it's gonna be a 20-mile, like, run or if it's gonna be a road run plus some trail hill repeats afterwards. It's very loose right now. Between the AZT and SCAR, it's not real training, because I only had, like, 3.5 weeks, 3 weeks, like, ish, like, it's a tight window, so, right now I'm tapering, and it's really just, like, I'm prioritizing logistics and sleep, and I would say before the AZT or just in regular life, it's a blend. I don't love like Texas trails are not as inspiring to me as like the trails of Colorado. So like when I'm visiting my sister in Colorado, I'll run trail all the time. Here in Austin, a lot of my running is social, so it ends up on the road. I have a few friends to run trail with, or like if I go by myself, I'll run trail or road. I don't know. I'm also trying to run every street in Austin. So I do a lot of road running on the streets to try to get more streets than my father, who is still beating me, even though he doesn't live here.
I was gonna say, who is anybody else on that list with the same last name?
No. Um,
No,
oh, yes,
your
sorry.
dad. Your
Yes, my
dad's
dad.
ahead of you. You
Yes.
just
But
told me
he
that's
is,
your dad.
yes, yes, sorry.
Okay, Michelle, you said when does she start? We're not going to give the exact date, but it's pretty soon. Um, I do. I plan to make a video about the whole thing. The next question is, we already covered this, but what level of support am I providing? It's non-support support. Once she starts, she can't really have any type of help. That also means she can't have like videographers, and so I can only video her at the start and the end. Um, but she's been practicing a little bit and sent me some samples. She's gonna try to get some footage herself
Oh,
while she's
yeah.
while she's out there.
I wasn't very good at talking on the camera while I was running. I was
She
just like
sent me one like 30-second video of her just running, and I'm like, okay, you got to say something now. You got to talk. But she had a very steady hand. She did very
I
good.
was practicing. It's not easy, like, you gotta, like, mess with the phone and put it in and out
Yeah.
of the pack, and then you're, like, holding it, so it can only probably happen during, like, hiking sections or, like, non-technical run sections because, like, having the poles under the armpit and, like, a phone, like, way out is, like it just throws off your balance, so, not ideal for running, but, like, it can be done on easier sections for sure.
Okay, change topics for a minute. Somebody
Yes.
asked me how my puppy's doing. She's out
Lucy.
cold. She's sleeping over there on the other side of the camera. Um, Michelle, you're asking comments about me taking time off from work to do the Colorado Trail. It's time for me to go to work. Um, oh, Steve Tucker from Dutch Harbor, Alaska. That's tugboat. Some of you guys remember if you watched the PCT. He works in Alaska on a tugboat. Um, Thank you, Papa Smurf, for the super chat. Going to be 70 when I start my AZT hike. Worried about balance. Can both of you comment on the top? What does that say? The top parts of the
The
trail and
top parts
oh,
of
the
the trail
top
I
parts
need
of
to
the
be
trail I need to be
concerned about.
concerned
Yeah,
about.
like the top things to be concerned about for the AZT.
Balance wise, I mean, the
Like
only
staying upright, use poles.
yeah, and the only thing that I think balance would be an issue, the AZT doesn't have much like other than the Grand Canyon, I don't really think there's hardly any like steep drop offs or anything like that. The trail's graded. There's a few climbs that are like straight up, and it's like who put like it's not even a trail. But for the most part, other than
There's
in the
no
Grand,
like rock hopping. Well, there's some rock hopping depending on how
I
much
don't think
water you
there's
have.
anywhere I'd be concerned with balance. I think the biggest concern I'd have about the AZT is water carries and just water management.
Yeah, I think water is for sure the biggest concern. Um, just make sure you have a pack that you can carry like a lot of water comfortably. Um, Is it your first through hike? I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I would say water is I agree with you
So
on that.
let's answer that, even though maybe it's not a question. And I'm going to have you answer first. What do you think about the AZT being a first through hike?
I love it for that. I think the distance well, I think that it's real there's a lot of trail towns that it's more accessible than like I feel like the Colorado Trail has longer carries between trail towns, which is another I think nice like kind of entry level-ish hike and through hike in terms of length because it's only 500 miles, but it's also at high altitude and there's the storm aspect. But AZT is I've heard that your answer to this, Chap, and I
You,
know you don't think that it is a good one, I think
but
for, like,
so I want you to,
beginners.
what do you think though?
I don't know, I kind of think it can be because
Okay.
just because of the trail support, the trail angel community is so awesome in
What
Arizona.
trail?
The trail angel,
Okay.
Arizona trail angels.
My
You do
experience,
not have any trail angels
no, I think there's no trail support and there's very little. I think that the
in
trail community
Arizona?
is almost non-existent in Arizona.
Do you remember all of those water caches that we got
Well,
gallons of
water
water?
caches, but other trail angel support, I
I
think
mean, that's
is
the most important trail angel support you could have is water, fresh, cold,
well, I was thinking along
purified,
like rides and
gallon
other
water.
things like that.
And I had lots of help with rides and I mean, I had a pack replacement. A trail angel brought me a pack. They like mountain biked out to bring me a pack. Um, there's there's like a web page with trail angels listed. That's how we found our shuttle at the end, actually. Um, so I don't know. I do think there's not as much trail magic,
Yeah.
but
Actually,
there are trail angels.
other than the shuttle service we called to finish, I tried to use that web page and I reached out to probably a total of 10 people and nobody was ever I had no luck on that at all. And several other hikers I met along the way said the same thing that the Trail Angel page was pretty useless. But I
Hmm.
would say that lengthwise and like mental aspect of through hiking, it would be a good first trail. But I think because of the water carry issues and the harshness of the desert at times I don't think it's a good first through hike, but um, that it really depends on your experience
Yeah,
and how the weather is. Your dad said that headlamp is a Petzl core.
there you go. Night Viper 3 says, "Isn't the trail fairly well traveled?" I think we're talking about Scar here. "Will the other hikers get in the way or slow down the run?" Yes, we joke about that.
She'll
What
push
am I
him down
supposed
and
to do,
keep
Chap?
do what?
What am I supposed to do when people try to
She's gonna
talk to
just
me?
scream, "FKT can't talk," and take off.
It's a real issue because people just want to like chat. And you're like, FKT can't talk. And I'm like, they're not gonna know what any of those words mean if I just like
They'll know what "can't talk" and "you running away" means.
that's true. But I'm gonna, yeah, definitely yeah, that happens. It can happen. Yeah. I think you just that's part of trail, like any kind of trail life, I think. Running, hiking, backpacking, all of it is you're sharing it with mountain bikers, you're sharing it with families, you're sharing it with dogs, you're sharing it with all the things, bears. So you just have to kind of be ready for that. This is not my first FKT attempt, Steve Tucker. I did the rim to rim to rim to rim to rim in the Grand Canyon
5 hours.
5 hours 4 years ago, 3.5 years ago.
Yes, this I'm gonna answer the sweatshirt question. The state-of-the-art sweatshirt is doing good. I've worn it once or twice since I've been home, but now it's too hot and humid to be wearing sweatshirts. Now that I'm home, it was weird. Sprout and I both commented on the same thing when we got home. It's so green, like
So
where
green.
she's at and where I'm at. Like as the plane was landing, I remember just looking out the window thinking,
Same.
"Oh my gosh, everything's so lush and green here. It's crazy compared to Arizona."
Yeah,
Um,
same.
I had vertigo just watching my vlogs. Somebody said the long trail is great for beginners. That the long trail is on my list, and that one can be done in a couple weeks as well. Um, Okay, I understand the difference between
Do you wanna
trans.
answer the question of what oh, no, you already answered that question.
Well, we got to answer Papa Smurf's questions because he keeps putting super chats up here. So he gets
Oh, question for
Papa's
Sprout. You can ask it.
non-hiking related. I understand you were a competitive cyclist. What brand and model is your racing bike?
I love that people
Huffy.
ask me gear questions. I actually do it's a specialized Amira. Um, it's not the S-Works brand, but it does have Di2 shifting and, a power meter that I don't use anymore. I love my bike, but, I don't race it anymore. I just enjoy it.
She retired when she got close to 28, 29.
Mhm.
Do you know that people have asked me, like in real life here, like at home, people think you are 28 or 29 because of what we were talking about? I tell them
Don't
that
give it
she
away.
is.
Yeah,
Um, I think we've gotten through all the questions.
okay.
So, do,
Yay.
if anybody has anything else they want to know about
Thank you.
AZT, any trails, any gear differences between her and I, or any other questions, now's your time to put them in there before we end this thing. I'm gonna go through. She's 29. Stop asking. Katie L says, "How old are you?" Um,
I'm 39.
most people aren't gonna believe that. You don't look 39.
It's a lie.
Huh? No,
I
it's
said
not.
it's a lie. No, it's not. Um,
Um,
Thanks.
okay, here we got some more questions popping up here. I was just skimming back through what I had written down before. We've covered all that.
On the PCT chap, should you send boxes or just buy on the open market? I think a combination.
I always think it's better to not send boxes if you can avoid sending boxes
I love
because
sending boxes.
unless you have special diet restrictions, sending boxes can be such a pain, and it's almost never cheaper by the time you pay postage because now like flat rate shipping starts at like $20 per box, and you really just I don't know. There are places on the PCT where you could send boxes. Let me see if I can remember where I sent boxes. I know I sent a box to Kennedy Meadows South because that was going to be a big food resupply. Like I think we carried 9 or 10 days into the High Sierra, and it would have been really expensive to resupply 9 or 10 days there in Kennedy Meadows. And then when we were in Bend, Oregon, Hollywood and I both went, and Cece went and got. I remember if you watched the videos, I rented a U-Haul truck, and we had like for $25, we had this U-Haul for 24 hours, and we got to run all of our errands, and we got stuff to make several boxes to send in the places in Washington. It really is easier to send boxes to like Stehekin and a couple other places in Washington. I don't remember what they are right now. Sprout, do you haven't done the whole PCT, but what do
But
you want to talk about
I
your thought
like
on boxes?
boxes. I do I like to minimize town time, and I know Chap likes to maximize time towns or town time. He was like, "My favorite part of hiking is towns." I was like, "It's my least favorite part."
I mean, I hike so
Um
I can eat Oreos in town.
I hike to be in nature and leave cell service in town. It's very overwhelming to me to be in town. So to get a box and just like put it in my pack and just leave is really nice. Also, like because I'm vegan, I can't always rely on what a town might have. And it's also nice sometimes, like to have friends or family send boxes. They might put a note in there, or like a special treat from home to snack on right then and there. So that always just like makes me happy. So I don't know, boxes, they might be a little, I don't even know that they're that much more expensive. Also, I always feel like I have like stuff at home and I'm like, okay, like just mail it to myself because otherwise, when else am I gonna eat it? I'm never gonna eat a bar in real life. So like, you know, I don't know. I like the boxes, but what is the recommended way you would train in the next 4 months for a Sobo on the AZT? Papa Smurf wants to know.
Do you want to answer first or you want me to go?
I would do a lot of stair repeats because the Grand Canyon is early. Um, and like sharing your, I mean, 4 months. Yeah, I mean, put your pack on, like figure out your footwear, know that your feet might grow a little bit or like leave a little room. I think shoes and gear are just important, like all of the logistics, but also just if you're talking about like training, I like stair repeats. Running is also good, but I don't know, walking.
So my thoughts for training for a through hike. I One thing that's really important is time on feet. Your feet start get hurting, your feet get tired, and the only thing you can really do is prepare for time on your feet. So however you do that, whether it's walking a lot, running a lot, it needs to be more than like a 3 or 4 hour walk because when you're through hiking, you're going to have all day on your feet. So time on feet in the shoes that you're wearing is a big deal. The other thing I think, especially for older hikers, more seasoned people, I think knee and ankle dexterity and tendon and ligament exercise is really important. One thing you can do is like just while you're sitting on the couch or laying in bed or whatever, do ankle ABCs. Like use your big toes to point and draw, like do an A and then a B and go through the ABCs like a couple times a day just to get your ankles and everything used to the movement because your ankles twist and turn on rocks and roots and things a lot. The other most important thing I think is cardio. Whether, I mean, to me, that's running, even if it's like slow jogging or walking really fast, like pretending you're running. So if I had to narrow it down to three things, it'd be cardio, knee and ankle dexterity, and time on your feet. And thank you again for that super chat.
Yeah.
And then, what's the best first trail?
Mm, the one that you do first. It's
I
the
think that's a
best
good
one.
answer. And I think it really depends on what part of the country you're in. If you're anywhere
Yeah.
in the southeast, I would say do the Foothills Trail. It's only like a 77-mile trail. You can do it in 5 days pretty easily. It's got some climbs. It's beautiful. But if you're on the West Coast or somewhere else, I mean, find a trail that's under 100 miles or so, and preferably a trail that you can resupply sometime in the middle, because I think that's good practice for a first trail, especially if you're preparing for a longer trail. If you can go in like the Bartram Trail in North Carolina, about halfway through, you actually go through Franklin, North Carolina, and that gives you a good resupply option. So I think, like Sprout said, whatever trail you do is a good first trail, but I
It
would just
does,
pick a
it
shorter
kind
one.
of depends on your goal. Like, I mean, those are like nice entry level, like,
hmm
but both of our first trail was the Appalachian Trail, which I think is the hardest. I don't know.
I did the foothill. I did the 500
Oh,
mile
you did
section on
more.
the
I guess I had
AT,
done,
but then I
well,
did
yeah.
my first through hike was the foothills trail.
Okay.
Um,
Mine was the Appalachian Trail. It was
Go
really
big or
hard.
go home.
It was really hard. I had done a section on the AT when I was in high school with my cousins and sister. It was a disaster.
Well, you come from a long line of through hikers, right?
Oh yeah, my parents do the Camino every year. Yeah, I've
Well,
had I've grown up hiking.
and your
My little
dad's done
trail
the
name when
AT,
I
right?
was, and my dad's done the AT. Yeah.
Okay, the next question is going to be highly controversial by some people, probably. What should I prepare for the cost to be on the PCT? The PCT is an expensive trail, and it really depends on how you do the trail. I mean, you can dirtbag it and mooch, and probably for a lot cheaper. I would say I wouldn't attempt the PCT for under 15,000, probably, at least to have saved. And if you spend less than that, you'll have a little more of a cushion when you get back. Um, but the PCT is expensive, and
Does that include all the gear?
no, not necessarily. The other
Okay.
thing to consider is through hikes cost me more money than they do some people because I have to stay in towns to upload videos. Like,
Well, a lot of people stay in town sometimes.
right, but like sometimes if you could stay in, like some people may want to stay in town, like at a hostel or somewhere, like, and I would choose to stay at a hotel that has better internet service, because if I have not great internet connectivity, it takes forever to upload videos and I have to be there longer. If I can be somewhere that costs a little bit more money and I can upload videos really quickly and not have to spend time doing that, I would choose that, because I don't want to spend. I do like towns, but I don't want to be in town longer than I need to be. So it depends. I've seen people say as cheap as 8,000, but the PCT is an expensive trail. The rides are expensive. Um, I mean, we had talked a lot about it was hard to get a 4-day resupply in California last year for under $100. I mean, it's prices are pricey. I remember we saw ramen for $4. You know, the ramen you get it for like a quarter at Walmart in most places. It was like $4 a pack of ramen at sometimes.
Mail your
So,
boxes.
yeah, and then you're
Have your
stuck
friends
in
and
town
family.
longer when the post office doesn't open or loses
Mail
your
your
box.
boxes to I like to mail my boxes to where I'm gonna sleep that night, whether it's a hostel or a hotel. Wherever I'm getting like my shower and doing my laundry, I try to do it all in one spot if I can, because the post office hours are so like awful. So I would mail boxes to those places, and then I also like when I did the AT, I had a like going away party, and I had a box for everybody to leave with. So each friend was like responsible for the box, so it wasn't like a huge burden, and I had it already like full with like the essentials, but then they could add stuff to it. And then, I think that could help alleviate some of that. But Chap is right. It's not cheap to like have all those hotels and like the laundry and the food, and then you're eating a real meal and sometimes two of them because you're very hungry. And um yeah, it can be expensive,
I will say
especially the
before we
PCT.
move on, Hollywood never has gotten his bear can back or the whole food supply that was mailed to Kennedy Meadows. The Postal Service is, I don't know that I last time we talked about it, he never got like the insurance claim or anything done either. But yeah, they completely lost his $100 Bear Vault bear can and all the food. We definitely had some big issues with mail. The couple boxes we did get at the on the PCT. Um, did we see that Dixie was on the AZT and was attacked by a skunk? I know she's on the AZT. I've seen some of her video. I've only watched a couple of them. I know she said there was something about somebody told her 0 chance she's gonna finish. I know she was hospitalized with noro. I saw that on Instagram. I don't know if her videos are there yet. I didn't see anything about the skunk. But there was at least one hiker attacked by a rabid coyote when we were on the AZT.
There were rabid foxes. Did you see the
That's what
fox
I
in the
meant,
middle of
rabid
the
fox.
trail? Oh, okay.
You're right, it
Yeah,
was a
and
fox.
apparently I just heard in Austin that 2 people have gotten bit by rabid foxes. I'm like, "Is there a rabid fox, like, situation happening everywhere?"
Yeah.
So you can get, and then someone was telling me recently that I should get a pre-rabies vaccine. Apparently you can get, like, a pre-exposure vaccine so that if something does happen when you're in the backcountry, it buys you a little bit more time. 'Cause I also heard, like, on the AZT last year that someone got bit in the face by a rabid skunk and, like, died because they were cowboy camping, and, like, I guess it can happen through a tent, I know, but, like, still
I'm laughing
scary.
because I just looked at our where we're communicating in this spreadsheet, and I've not opened this in a little bit, and I'm sorry. Um, I've got several messages here about I need to be in the lab. She wants to see my face, and I'm
But
looking
you,
over.
like, leave it, you're like
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So a couple other things.
I told you, I was like,
You
"Hey,
are
come
so
back to the
impatient with
screen."
me sometimes. Uh, uh, what was the other question? Okay. So there was a question about can she accept things from trail angels? And I think that answer is no. Um,
I think we answered that one already. I think
okay.
if I accept stuff, it's self-supported. Um,
So I want to just comment on something here. Somebody was discouraging Papa Smurf from hiking the AZT. I don't agree with that comment at all. I met several hikers way up in their 70s that were doing great and finished finish the AZT and the AT. There's a guy this year trying to set the record on the AT. I think he's 97 or 98. You can look him up. His name's Graybeard. He had the record of the oldest person before of through hike the AT before Nimblewheel Nomad reset the record in 2021, and now he's trying again to reset it. So if you're in decent shape and you want to hike the AZT, go hike it. Oh, thank you so much.
I
Is it Satch
know.
Grant? Thank you very much for that
Scratch
super
Grant,
chat.
that was so
That
nice. He
that
needs
was
that so he can like support me with his non-support.
well.
That was a joke.
I know. I'm trying to think of a comment that. um, all these super chats will go to supporting Sprout and buying.
Aw.
We'll go. It'll pay for things on the during
Like
the FKT attempt because we're
like
going to be down there for several days, and this will be very helpful. So thank you guys so much. These two people have been overly generous here, Satch Grant
yeah.
and Papa Smurf. Thank you so much. I'm
Shivey
trying to like
wants
stay
to
here and also here at the same time, and
well, you can just look in this I'm like just looking here, but
yeah,
I
but
know it's
that's how we miss things because you're.
um um
um,
V Shy VJ wants to know about how to like fuel herself with
where are you at? Oh, Shivey. Okay.
is a recent one. I have extreme diet restrictions, allergic to gluten, dairy, MSG, coconut mushrooms, and others, and vegan by choice. What would you suggest for like
I think that question's
hiking?
for you.
I think so too. I mean, so I used a smoothie powder in the morning and in the like a meal replacement smoothie powder called Health Code. Um, for like breakfast and lunch. So it was the most calorically dense item. I'm also small, so I have to be really careful about how much weight I carry. So I found like powders to be the name of the game. And then bars, like hypoallergenic ones, like Bobos are like, I mean, I think they're gluten free because they're all oat based. It's like basically oatmeal. I'm not allergic to gluten, so I don't pay this much attention to it. Um, but yeah, I would say, I think like look for maybe a smoothie powder and some bars. And then my dinners were very simple. I had two choices every night, ramen or beans and rice. So I know you probably can't do ramen. Well, no, a lot of the ramen I would do is like rice noodles. And beans and rice is gluten free. So if you can handle beans, that's what I did. Pretty much ramen, beans and rice, bars, and smoothies. And chips, but I mean, yeah, a lot of chips are not gluten free.
Thank you for answering that. Shivey's been around on my channel for quite a long time. She was there for the. I know she's been commenting since back at the AT days. Um,
Oh,
yes, time on your feet, carrying weight. Both are important, but yes, carrying weight changes how your feet react, at least for me. I know there are certain, like I can do 15-mile
thank
walks
you.
over and over, but it doesn't callus up my feet the same as it does when I'm carrying a pack. So yes, time on your feet with weight if possible. Let's see what else do we got that
Oh,
one.
Shabby is like my size as well. Wonderful. And my age, it sounds like. I dye my hair. No, I just get highlights. But
We're in totally different places on this count.
I'm just faster, you know? That's
I know you're way faster than me. Obviously, you're
just
pushing
move.
yourself even in comments.
Um, oh, Shabby, you're
Okay,
young.
President Mickey and I are talking about just
I am not
the
53
on-show
though,
expenses,
but
not good.
you are young.
So going back to the question about hoping to do the PCT with two people for a combined 15K, there are a good bit of expenses there that could be shared, especially if you can also share rooms with other hikers when possible. If 15K is what you have, go hike as much as you can hike. You can probably do it for two people for 15K if you try. I mean, I would always say go out there and do as much as you can for whatever amount of money you have. but always remember to have a cushion when you're done, because there's going to be time adjusting back and going back to work and all those. So, Papa Smurf, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Papa Smurf is like spoiling us.
Aw.
We're gonna have to find the fanciest vegan restaurant we can find in near the Smokies.
Probably Asheville.
Well, we're going to Asheville then.
Yes.
Um,
No. You need to push yourself, chat
I wish
in the comments.
I'm working on it. Thank you very much. I watched Papa Smurf. I watched some of Goob's adventures too on YouTube. I think Goob is in like Japan or somewhere. The last video I saw. Yeah, I know. I've been working to push myself. I ran long farther than she did yesterday.
Well, one of us is tapering. And it's never a competition. I'm always
The heck
happy
it
for
isn't.
anybody. Never. I'm pretty non-competitive.
I mean, there is video of you being pretty dang competitive at shuffleboard.
I wasn't trying to win. I just accidentally won.
Oh no, but your video, you took my camera and there is video.
I was like, I don't know how I'm making this amazing comeback.
It was weird. I was at 20 and then I just stopped scoring. Go figure.
So weird.
Okay, I think that's all the questions. Do you have anything else? If not, we can. Last time I said we can put a bow on it, people said don't quit, but we've been at this for an hour and a half and there are no more questions. So I'm going to wait like 1 minute if anybody has any last minute dire questions, because we're currently like almost to the highest point of viewers online that we've had. Oh, we got a good night. So there we go. I think we can wrap it up. Do you have anything else, Sprout, before we end this? All right. Thank you, Sprout, for being on here and
Thank
answering all the
you.
questions. Yeah.
Stay tuned because we'll post more stuff about the
We
run
will
and
we'll
like, yeah.
post more, and I will definitely have at least one full video about her whole attempt. We've already been talking about how we're going to do that. So I hope to make a really cool video that she will have to document to the extent that we can document it. So have a good night, everybody. Thank
Thanks,
you all for being here.
everyone.
Thank you so much for the super chats, and wish Sprout good luck. And
They
we'll see
did.
you.
A lot of people did. Thank
I
you.
know. We'll see you guys all later.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to leave.
I'll kick you out. Hold on.
Okay.